Hey everyone, we've got a really fascinating case study to unpack today about a well-intentioned diversity initiative at a university that, well, completely unraveled. Have you ever seen a plan backfire so spectacularly that it achieved the exact opposite of its intended goal? Whether you're a student, a team leader, or just an active member of your community, understanding why these initiatives break down is absolutely crucial so we don't end up repeating the same mistakes.
So, picture this. You design a project, right? A project meant to literally destroy hate. But somehow, it ends up making headlines for promoting it? I mean, how does that even happen? It is a genuine mystery how an event created to symbolically demolish discrimination ended up doing the exact opposite. It's a prime example of why good intent doesn't always equal good impact.
Just look at this quote right from the news reports. Students were shocked when they read hate-filled messages spray-painted on a campus wall. Imagine you're just walking to class, minding your own business, expecting a totally normal Tuesday, and boom, you're confronted with these horrible slurs. Instead of unity, the immediate result was just pure, visceral shock and confusion.
Okay, let's dive into this explainer and conduct a postmortem. Here's a quick look at our agenda. We'll start with a case gone awry, look at the roots of hate, explore intergroup contact theory, analyze why the wall failed, discuss the value of diverse teams, and finally, wrap up with building a positive wall.
All right, Section 1, a case gone awry. Let's lay out the timeline of what actually went down. So, the Diversity Student Council came up with this straightforward three-step plan. The ultimate goal? Creating a sense of belonging and psychological safety on campus. Step 1, construct a temporary concrete wall. Step 2, invite the community to write down hateful and biased statements they'd personally heard or witnessed. And Step 3, at the end of the day, physically tear that wall down to metaphorically destroy the hate. Honestly, on paper, it sounds like an incredibly powerful visual, right?
Well, here's the unfortunate reality. Because there was zero context provided to the general public, this dramatic display completely panicked unsuspecting students. I mean, they didn't know the master plan. They just saw a wall rapidly filling up with hate speech. This unguided initiative spread like wildfire, deeply stressing the student body and turning into a massive PR crisis that literally drew in local television news crews.
Moving right along to Section 2, the roots of hate. Before we analyze the operational failure, we really have to acknowledge the very real, systemic problems that inspired this project in the first place.
The students were trying to tackle something huge here. The gravity of the situation is incredibly clear when you consider this number, 7,759. The FBI reported over 7,700 hate crimes in the U.S. in the year 2020 alone. Hate is this massive issue that takes a brutal mental toll on communities.
And to put that into a more localized perspective, look at this breakdown from the Orlando Police Department. That massive orange chunk right there, that shows that 55% of these reported hate crimes are motivated by race, followed by 38% motivated by sexual orientation. Seeing data like this, it makes total sense why the Student Council felt this intense, urgent need to act and provide an outlet for healing.
Let's look at Section 3, intergroup contact theory. To objectively understand what went wrong structurally with their attempt to heal, let's lean on some academic sociology.
We're going to look at Gordon Allport's intergroup contact theory. Introduced way back in 1944, it acts as a foundational blueprint for reducing bias to interaction. But catch this, the absolute most critical part of this definition is right at the very end. Contact is highly effective at reducing prejudice, but only under appropriate conditions. If you just throw groups together without any structure, well, it can actually backfire entirely.
So, according to Allport, the theory only works if 4 very specific conditions are met simultaneously. You need equal status among participants, common goals, intergroup cooperation, and, this is the big one, institutional support with low intergroup tension.
Which brings us to Section 4, why the wall failed. This is the real climax of our postmortem, dissecting exactly why the NSC wall failed so spectacularly.
Let's dissect this. The campus was absolutely horrified when deeply malicious anti-Semitic phrases appeared on the wall. And listen, context is everything here. This happened during an already tense geopolitical moment involving the Gaza conflict. The campus was already incredibly stressed out. So right out of the gate, Allport's crucial condition of low intergroup tension was completely shattered.
But wait, because here is the major plot twist of the whole situation. Check out this quote. The person who wrote "Kill the Jews" on the wall actually identified as an Orthodox Jewish male,
He stated that the project helped alleviate some of the stress he was experiencing. So actually, scratch the idea that this was an outside attack. This was a completely misunderstood act of personal catharsis by a member of the targeted community itself. He was using the wall exactly how it was designed, putting the hate he'd experienced out into the physical world to be destroyed. But to a random student walking past who didn't know his identity or intent, no way. It just looked like a literal, terrifying threat.
So when we boil it all down, what were the root causes of this crisis? The wall ultimately failed because it violated that low intergroup tension condition, given the high global tension at the time. Plus, there was just a staggering lack of public communication. I mean, there was a severe lack of context. No facilitators or guides were stationed at the wall to explain to passersby, hey, this is a symbolic project. It was just left open to total misinterpretation.
Let's move to Section 5, the value of diverse teams. Now, seeing an initiative blow up like this might make leaders want to throw in the towel on inclusion altogether.
But despite this painful misstep, we absolutely have to look at the data to see why we can't give up. Let's look at the business case for a second. Organizations that leverage diverse teams make better decisions a staggering 87% of the time. 87%. It's like a giant safeguard against groupthink.
And tying right into that, ethnically diverse companies are 36% more likely to see superior financial performance compared to homogeneous peers. So, inclusion isn't just a nice-to-have for morale, it is a fundamental hard numbers driver of competitive advantage.
Ultimately, fostering a truly inclusive culture makes your whole organization 60% more likely to outpace the competition in decision-making. Abandoning these efforts just isn't an option if you want to succeed. We don't stop doing them. We just have to design them much, much better.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 6, building a positive wall. Knowing the incredible value of these initiatives, how do we successfully rebuild them without repeating the mistakes of the past?
Look at this comparison here. The original hate wall focused heavily on spotlighting trauma, airing hurtful words to tear them down. But a brilliant proposed alternative from the students themselves was a wall of positivity. Think about it, a permanent structure actively expressing good sentiments, love, and continuous harmony. It achieves the exact same goal of community building, but without broadcasting those triggering, traumatic slurs. It shifts the entire frame. If we're drafting a real blueprint for future success based on this whole postmortem, here's what it looks like. First, you absolutely have to form diverse project teams in the planning phase to catch those blind spots early. Second, establish physical information stations. Have trained facilitators standing right there to prevent any unguided chaos. Third, consider moving highly sensitive discussions into safe, professionally guided workshop environments instead of the middle of a public walkway. And finally, always implement proactive risk management. So as we wrap up this explainer, I'm going to leave you with a final thought to ponder. Can symbolic efforts without proper facilitation unintentionally reinforce the very division they aim to heal? It is a fascinating question, and honestly one that every leader, student, and manager really needs to ask themselves before launching their next well-intentioned project. Thanks so much for diving into this case study with us today, and keep striving for better, more structured understanding.